What could Texas Central Rail do to make this project acceptable for you?
Nothing.
I drew the short straw. That was your question? Right, fair enough. Interestingly enough, I've offered to sit down with y'all quite a few times to have this discussion. I think the answer lies in a lot of different areas, and that is to basically put into place legislation that ensures the very things that they continue to propagate. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. Of course, we've been in an interim, and I'll give them that, but when we had the opportunity last session, we took all of the claims that were made, and we turned them into legislation, and they shot them down. And so, from our perspective, it's pretty clear that there's no intent to honor those obligations. Because if the obligations are intended to be honored, one would say, fine, no problem, Budget Rider 48, go for it. No problem, we're not going to take any state money. We're glad to sign on legislation for that. We're not going to use them in a domain. It's going to be, we're not going to need to use them in a domain. We're going to have so much money we're throwing around. That was one statement I heard at one point, or a lot of times actually. And so every time we took those statements and converted those into something definitive, they didn't like that. And so unfortunately, I can't really answer the question because we can't seem to get anything static long enough to have a real conversation about it. So the short answer is stop changing stuff, tell the truth, and let's get together and put legislation in place that holds you to your commitments, and we got somewhere to start from.
Let me follow up. Now, what would that be? In other words, forgetting what their position is, what would your position be that would make it acceptable to you?
Well, again, I mean, we're talking about checking the eminent domain at the door. We're talking about protecting private property rights. We're talking about ensuring that there's no state funds ever, not just today, but ever, that would ever be used. We're talking about protecting the counties to make sure that they're not stuck with infrastructure improvements later for trying to cross this monstrosity. It's really, you talk about safety. I mean, there's all kinds of things that has to be worked out. Unfortunately, it's not easy. But again, I start from the position of I don't even know where to start because nothing stayed static long enough for us to get there.